Going live. Sweet. Okay. Oh, I guess are we gonna do a poll question? Yeah.
Yes, but like, what should it be? Like, there's so much good stuff right now, and I don't feel like anybody's like too mad about any one thing. Which those are the
Oh, just you wait. Oh.
okay. Apparently, I'm wrong. Apparently, I've been.
Have
Were
you
you not
faced a
paying
blood
attention?
DK?
I mean, I have,
I've been
but that's
having a
all
good
I'm
time,
playing.
so you know. Okay, you know what? You're right. That's fair. Just because things are going well for me doesn't mean everybody's happy. What a friggin' bizarre world.
I mean, I literally have been pretty much only playing Blood DK for a while now, for like the past week.
The only thing that I can think of that might be a fun question is like what old card has been like surprisingly powerful, maybe? I don't know, but that doesn't really open up a lot of Death Knight answers. I'm gonna be so honest, it's because I love Eyesore Totem so much. And that's literally the only reason I want to ask that question.
I mean, Totem Shaman has been like legitimate, so like,
yeah,
it's not the best deck in the world, but it's certainly better than it has been in a long time.
Yay.
Yeah, Totem Shaman. Oh, I should put our little how about where is it? Where's my controls? I lost my controls. There we go. Show display names. Now people know who we are. Hey, if you didn't already. There we go. Oh, Mage. No, you are important. Oh my goodness. Yes, hello everybody. Welcome in.
Welcome.
All right.
Oh.
I'm gonna be so honest. I just pulled up like I had private chat pulled open and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? One of those days, all right. I drove somebody to the airport at like 4:30 in the morning and it's just gone downhill from there apparently. But hi everybody who's in chat.
It wrecks your whole day, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would imagine so too. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's never fun to go to the airport in the first place, so
Anything like different, I will say. I got yesterday, officially, I got my ADHD diagnosis and started on some medicine.
Okay.
So yesterday and today, I'm like, I've started the medicine, but like, now I'm adjusting to that. So I'm like, I'm either like, all right, focused, or I'm like, I'm gonna sleep.
It's overwhelming. Yeah.
Which one did you get on?
I'm starting with Stratera because all the
it was my
shortage.
First one.
Is that was it? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the shortages right now, so
for almost 72 hours. Like just getting up to like, eat and survive and then it was like, somehow this one doesn't work with me, but hopefully it works with you because it's a lot more chill.
I was gonna say I've had no issues with Adderall, so like that's the one I've gotten on, but I'm also on like 7 different medications. Like I have to literally just take like a fistful of pills in the morning.
Yeah. Well, because of all the shortages, they're like, we can't give, new patients like the Adderall or other stuff like that. Yeah. So like, we'll start you with other stuff. And I'm like, that's fine. Just, something. And also like, yay, that you weren't just like, it's anxiety. Get out of here. Like, God, yeah. You actually were like, hey, yeah, that's the thing. Okay. So I was happy with that.
That's great. Yes. Yeah. Mental health is important.
Very.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
I honestly just feel like we should just skip the poll question.
Okay, that's fine with me. Yeah.
Well, I was like, no, nobody's coming up with anything. I was just about to ask,
Yeah.
like, does anybody have any other ideas?
Then,
but
yeah. And then I'm like, man, I can't, find the other one. I probably could actually like search for it, but I'm also like, no, distracted. But
Okay.
I think we should definitely do like a little Mage Death segment, like catch up with Mage.
yes.
What? No.
See how you've been doing. Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's a good idea.
I've been sick for a month. That's what I've been doing.
Oh no.
Same sort of cough issue that I was dealing with.
Oh yeah, and your voice and yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've had a lot of time for media, though. That means, right? Or anything. Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, so I dealt with it from like July until late October when I finally had surgery. And then I had 4 months off. And now the last month I've been doing it. So it sucks.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. That's rough.
That is rough. Okay, so are you ready to do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Test. Okay, good. Yeah. I was just making sure if I'm taking an OBS recording, I want to make sure it actually works. So
Oh, yeah, fair. That's probably a good thing.
okay. All right. Okay. All right, I'm ready to go now. Yes. Okay, good.
Yep.
All right. God, what did I just do with it? Okay, there we go. All right. OBS is running. Okay. All right. Welcome to Dr. 3, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to giving you explosive growth and climbing the standard rank ladder. I'm your host, Kat, and along with me are my fellow hosts, Masters Tour and Grandmasters Caster dragonrider. And you know her, you love her, it's Smarms. All right.
Yeah.
And of course, returning for our 200th episode extravaganza, we have Major Death. It's been a while
since
Hey.
What is going on? There was just this flash of nostalgia as I was listening to you do the intro there. It has been a little while. Hello, everyone. It is so wonderful to be back with you all for at least one night. I'm excited to be here. And 200. Fantastic job.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Yay.
Round of applause. 200.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there for what, 179 of them, it looks like?
Something like that, yes. So
yeah.
A number of them.
Yeah, a big number of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're a big part of this story as well.
I must admit, I feel like a little bit like the person that got tagged onto the group project that was already doing like exceptionally well. And it's just like, I was clearly here too, guys. You did all this work and I was here.
You have been doing exciting. Wonderfully, Smarms.
Exactly. So let's catch up with Mage a little bit. So How have you
Oh
been?
goodness, we're doing this right at the start of the episode.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yes.
We always start with the guest. You know how this
That's
works.
right.
Oh, jeez. I don't like this as the microphone turns sort of scenario here.
That's fair. That's fair. So, what's new in the world of Mage of Death?
Not too much. I've been I guess enjoying an extra night, being able to hang out with my lovely wife Eve and still doing the MCU podcast, and that's going really well. We actually expanded out from just Marvel movies. We did Shazam! Fury of the Gods a few weeks ago, and this next week we're actually doing a look at Road to Perdition. I just actually finished reading the graphic novel today, and we're going to be looking at the movie as well. And yeah, other than that, gaming wise, been playing a lot of Marvel Snap still. It is my game. They had an update today, and some balance changes and some matchmaking changes and a bunch of things. And I'm excited to get in there and try that out. But otherwise, I'm not too much going on. We got a new MCU movie coming out in a couple weeks, but yeah, I'm keeping busy as it were.
Yeah, I mean, reading a graphic novel can take some time. So I can respect that. I've just recently finished a couple stuff. I went back through and I read the Squadron Supreme Omnibus, which is phenomenal. Like, that is like one of my favorite books of all time. So if you ever need something to do one week, I highly recommend it. It is so good. And then I was reading Hawkman by Jeff Johns, which was very good. Yeah. So most things by Jeff Johns, I am a big fan of. So like he did my favorite Green Lantern run, and just some of the more iconic DC pieces in my mind. So
Gotcha. But it seems like you all have had a week. There was like an expansion or something that came out, Festival of Legends.
Just one of those small little
and a rotation
change anything.
And all that sort of stuff. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's nice to say goodbye to Bran Bronzebeard again. Like, oh my god. There's a sense of relief when Bran exits the meta. So
yeah, and the quest lines and heroes. It's been kind of nice having those gone too. I was like talking about today at one point. I was like facing a rogue. I'm like, oh yeah, the hero cards are gone. Yeah, rogue, you can't scabs and put all this board back into my hand. Like, yeah, like take that. That was exciting.
It's true. They can't do that anymore. So no 20 mana for Druid. So.
That's the one that I was gonna say. That was always such a pain because, like, sometimes you can win at the end of a game, but 20 mana, there's just nothing I can do to compete with that. So kind of glad that I don't have to anymore.
Almost feels like Druid who? What?
Well, a little bit, yeah.
I mean, they're still there and still doing very, very Togwaggle-esque things from the back in the day. So I don't know if you guys have played against that deck, but that is not what I would describe as fun to play against. But
what did Togwaggle do?
Togwaggle switch decks.
Yes. Okay. So that's the new whatever his face.
Yeah, Tony
Pirate, right? Yeah. Yes. I had somebody do that once, and then they played Fires of Zin,
Yep.
And
Warrior.
so they were able to actually make that goofy condition where they burned my entire
The
deck
steam
come
cleaner.
true.
Yeah, I only saw that once and I still killed him after that.
I didn't. But it was
Oh my god.
hilarious. And honestly, having run some pretty silly decks, I'm glad that they're able to get off their goofy, only works one every 300 games situation off.
Yeah. The warrior version, not the Tony Druid version, because that seems to go off very frequently. So
with Jailer and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where you play a Nubercon, you play Tony and the Jailer, or you play the Jailer, you play Tony, Jailer, and then either like one other card you can silence them too, and that switches the decks back as well. So like you have a lot of different options there. So I don't know. It's not exactly the most exciting thing in the world to play against, but
we've been talking a lot about what we're playing against, but I would love to talk about what I'm playing.
Okay.
Which is Totem Shaman. Because that thing is ridiculous and hilarious. And actually, so I'm also excited. This is the closest I've been to like maybe being in the ballpark of Legend in a long time. I won every game except for one from Diamond 10 to Diamond 5. Nice. I have like a Totem Shaman with like a 89% win rate. I think that's what it ended up amounting to. Ooh, and so it's been like a lot of fun. Turning out like winning game after game is kind of fun, It's good. Who would have ever thought? Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yep. But
it warms my heart to hear Totem Shaman actually being a thing.
He thought it was going to be a joke.
Many times. There's been so many times I've wanted it. It's been so close that it's like, okay, it's good and wild, but it's not good in standard still. It just needs one more thing.
It's a legitimate contender right now. And yes, dragonrider?
I think there's like a couple slight different variations of Totem Shaman that I've seen as well, which has been pretty interesting. So I'm like, okay, I didn't think it was a thing. And then I tried a version the other day and I did pretty well with it. And I was like, all right, maybe Totem Shaman like is a thing. And I was playing at like, I don't know, Diamond 5 to Diamond 3. Yeah. So happy.
Honestly, Mage, if you want to borrow decks to play Totem Shaman while it's like good, I highly recommend it. It's so much fun.
If anything could get me to log back into Hearthstone for the first time in a while, that might be one of the things that could do it, actually.
Yeah. Because I do have like a friend who like kept every time that totems would come out, like make a totem deck just as like a goofy thing, like knowing that it was never going to work. And then this, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, this is actually winning. This is winning a lot more than it should. So
it makes sense because like all the pieces are there now. Like Thing from Below is back in standard. The 5/4 that gives your totems +2 attack. Like Bloodlust is there. So like everything is and Eyesore too. So like all these like random pieces that had just been coming down the pipeline, like that was like, it doesn't quite work yet. They're like all those pieces are together in the Totem Goliath, the one that like costs one less for every totem that's died. So all of a sudden, like you're able to spam the board with really good, like really big bodies, and it's just like
it costs 0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's just like
I love Thing from Below. That is one of my favorite cards, and
yes,
I love that it's back in standard.
Yeah,
and it's like you're like I've been almost anytime it's in hand, like by the time that you draw it, it's free. So like just it always feels good to play like a 0 mana taunt that's a 5/5.
Yeah. And like you have the cards that like summon all 4 basic totems at like
for 1 mana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you have the other one that the other totem that summons, if it's infused, summons 2 totems at the end of turn. But if not, it summons 1. And that's just like, that's 3, that's like 5 totems right there. And like, all of a sudden, like, so quickly that all your other stuff becomes free. And it's all threatening because of bloodlust and like the fact that, you know, you can get eyesore becomes a real problem real quickly just because it buffs everything. Like it literally buffs everything except for Stoneheart, right? Like everything else in your desk is basically a totem. And then what is it? The Ancestral Knowledge, the one that's overload, draw 2 cards.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's there. And like Shaman was lacking card draw, and well, Totem Shaman was, and this is like cheap card draw that fits into the package very well. So like all of a sudden when your big hitters don't cost you anything, then like you don't mind paying, you know, 3 mana over 2 turns for draw 2 cards because you just need more resources to get stuff on board. So
what have you guys been playing?
I want to hear dragonrider first.
All right. I've been trying a lot of stuff. Just like all sorts of things. But I will say the decks that I have liked the most, which shocking, I know, because I brought this up when we were, you know, like when stuff was first getting revealed. Menagerie type stuff. Like things that have like, you know, 3, 5, 6, 7 different types. I will say 1 amalgam band, the legendary neutral, it only gets up to 8 keywords, but it gets 1 additional like randomly, you know, generated keyword for each minion type that you've played. Oh man, I have played so many 6/6 stealth, wind fury, divine shield, poison, lifesteal things, and I love it so much. I love that card. Oh, it's great. So yeah, pretty much anything that has like all the amalgams in it and then other minions, I'm loving that. So fun.
I've seen that kicking around in different. I've seen Rogue try it with it. I've seen Warrior with it. I think I've even seen Shaman playing it too.
Maybe. What I've been playing is actually from, you know, shout out to our listener D-Style. He gave it to me as a deck redeem, but he gave me like a really fun like a Menagerie Rainbow Death Knights.
Okay.
With that stuff, and then the 1 amalgam band. Now it will say also amalgam of the deep, I think is the one, the 2 mana one that you get to discover. Right now, because we're in this 4 set meta, there's a smaller pool of things, and some of the classes don't have like if you pick like Murloc maybe, or you know, some of the stuff, some of the classes don't have those, right? So you get only neutral options, which increases your chance to discover another 1 amalgam band. And yesterday I got to play 3 of them in 1 game.
Oh,
it's a legendary. That was really fun. I was like, that is fun. I'm just like playing all sorts of amalgams. And then because amalgams also count as undead, like you have the little mistake, you know, little one mana, 1/3 that's an amalgam. You have the 2 mana amalgam, and you just play a bunch of those. You have the one amalgam band that's an amalgam, and so also your vizier. If you get the, you know, an undead died last turn, since your last turn you get to discover something and it's 2 less. That's like always active. I'm like, this is so fun. I'm like, I'm just throwing out amalgams like every other turn. I'm like, this is the best.
That's amazing.
That's been quite fun.
God. It reminds me of like back when like last summer when Mech Mage was really a thing. All I would do is discover Gaia, which is the mage like mech that attacks everything. And like sometimes, even though you shouldn't have won, after like your fourth Gaia that you've played, somebody just concedes because they don't want to deal with Gaias anymore, it turns out. So it sounds kind of like the endlessly discovering is, it's a lot of fun when you can get it to really pop off with the thing that you like.
So I've been playing Blood Death Knight. Hi, I'm the problem.
No.
Somebody's got to be the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah. I definitely am interested to hear about your experience playing it, because I feel like from the other side, like Death Knight and Demon Hunter are kind of like the big baddies. I feel like, especially at like higher legend. Those two are very, very prevalent in the meta right now. So what has your experience been like playing the Blood Death Knight? What can you talk just even like a little bit? We don't have to do like a whole deck deep dive into it, but like what beats it? Like how does it lose? That kind of stuff. Because I know I'm sure a lot of people are like, I just need to beat Death Knight. Like screw you, Death Knight.
I mean, it's very weird in the sense because like the mirror match is so weird. It like I had a period of time where I went like 0 and like 30 against the mirror. I wasn't keeping perfect track of the stats, but I literally there was a large streak every time I hit a mirror match, I lost. Like regardless, it just felt really bad. And then like I'm doing much better against that now. But like it's very interesting. Like it can still easily lose to Frost Death Knight. Like that deck has a lot of heavy stuff in the back end, and Frost can still pull things out of thin air. Like it can still generate a Lady Frost Whisper. Like one time, like I played a game where I was in a commanding position. They pulled Lady Frost Whisper, and then they spread her Death Rattle to two other minions with the Death Growl card, and then I ended up getting Frozen or was that Frozen Touch? Not Frozen Touch, but the 7 mana one.
Oh, Frostworm Fury?
Frostworm Fury 7 turns in a row. Like their hand was literally all Frostworm's Furies.
Wow.
So like they can still pull things out. The aggro decks can still do all right. That Druid deck I mentioned earlier, like the blood can lose to that if not prepared or does not get a well-timed or a lucky patchwork off. But there's a lot of variance in that deck just because of Hermitage. Like you don't know exactly what you're gonna pull off the Hermitage, and like so there's like a lot of reacting to what you're doing, and like the Vizier, obviously, like that's generating things for you, and like it feels very flexible, but like I don't know. It sometimes it misses. It's still a 40 card deck, and sometimes you're playing the aggro deck and you draw all your heavy cards. You draw your Soul Stealers, and you draw maybe Blood Boils instead of Corpse Explosions, or you just aren't getting a lot of things to generate corpses, and you need a large Corpse Explosion to deal with the board. Or you just get knocked down low and they keep just picking at you, and you can't really ever heal quite enough to get back into it. So I'm at rank 1 2 stars right now with Blood Death Knight, so like I had a pretty decent day going from 4 to 1. So but it's definitely, it doesn't feel like there's any really awful, like just you can't win this matchup kind of thing, but like the aggro, like it feels like some of the times it's just like you just stomp an aggro deck, but the other times it's just like, well, I didn't draw anything, I didn't draw any of my early games and enjoying my corpse baggers or my vampiric bloods and all that kind of stuff. So like it has the same kind of issues that other 40 card decks have, but and then like people are tweaking it a little bit here and there, like putting in like an ETC and then throwing in like Rivendare for the mirror matchup, because there's not a lot of way to like really deal with Rivendare, and it's a lot more than just waiting for the damage from the 7-drop. I said his name about a million times. Morgraine, Alexandros Morgraine, a million times. So like, it's one of these things that there's just a little like here and there. It's a very interesting deck for me because it's such a control deck, but it also like, I like this afternoon I faced the Druid deck and they swapped decks. They destroyed my decks, but like before they could do that, I played a 7-mana The Scourge and my board was full. And it's just like, all right, well, go ahead and swap decks. I'm going to kill you. Like, I just took like all the aggro options. Like, I took the Corrupted Ashbringer and like I took, damage spells. So it's like, all right, well, go ahead and just swap and destroy my deck. I'm literally going to kill you because you just spent all your armor, putting out the Jailer and Tony. So, but yeah. So I'd say its weakness is probably aggro, just because you aren't, there's a lot to the deck, and it really does feel at times like you have to like really, really, really evaluate when you're pulling on like Blood Boil or like Corpse Explosion, those two being like probably like the most vital tools in the deck, because they're your comeback mechanics. It doesn't really much matter when you play Vampiric Blood or or but like obviously it would be nice to play it with the 5-mana 3/6 that would generate 2 5/5s. It's like, that's nice. Or with the weapon, the 3-mana 3/2 weapon that generates a lifesteal minion when your health changes on your turn. So like, there's a lot of moving parts to that deck, and it's not very straightforward. And I love that. Like, it requires a lot of thought, and like, there's a lot of choices and a lot of discovery, and like when you're swinging face and like what you're looking for in certain matches, like, like, if I know I'm playing against Druid, I'm going to try and hold my, I want my Corpse Takers or not Corpse Takers, but my Soul Stealers immediately. And I want, if I can discover a third Soul Stealer or asphyxiates, as many asphyxiates as I can possibly gather, because after Jailer, the asphyxiate still clears their board. Like, so like, all those cards, because the reason why I won that game was because I had the giant board and I had 2 asphyxiates in my hand. So it's asphyxiate, Jailer and Anubercon went down, and I still had, a pretty full board, and they had a 4/5. So like, those things like really like make a difference in knowing like where you're weak. And like, I know now, like, when I'm going into the mirror match, like, I kind of always assume it's blood, even though a lot of the times it's frost. But like, I feel like you can recover from what you might keep for blood, a mirror match versus what you would keep for frost. But like, one thing I can say is that any chance you get in a mirror match, if you get offered dark transformation, take it, because you can dark transformation their Baron Rivendare and take that win condition off the table for them.
Oh, that's interesting. I always forget that it's just transform an undead and not transform a friendly undead minion. Yeah.
Yeah,
those are always fun.
I mean, it works very good against Warlock too, because it's like, oh, they play Thaddeus. Okay, that's a 4/5 with Rush now, instead of 11/11. So.
And then if they try to play Reanimator, they'll bring back that 4/5, right? Not a Thaddeus.
Exactly. So there's a lot of it's not worth packing with, it's certainly no location, but it definitely is worth discovery off a school teacher or a vizier. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it amounts to not a whole lot beats Blood Death Knight is. I think we just because there's so many different options for getting around anything. But I don't know. Funny enough, like I've mainly been having a frustrating time against paladins. And I know that sounds so silly. And it was mainly when I was playing Mech Mage. But it's like, okay, how many divine shields can one person possibly have?
So many divine shields.
Yeah.
Well,
and stats too. Like then they add a bunch of stats to stuff, and you're like, okay, now they have like an 11/8 with divine shield, and I've got like a 2/3 and a 1/2. Sweet. I'm in trouble.
I was going to say, and Order in the Court just makes everything so much smoother. Like it's just so cool. It's just like, that's another one Blood Knight's worth, or that's a very bad matchup for Blood Death Knight is Paladin, because the damage it gets in and the divine shield and how it just stacks everything. It makes it very difficult to keep up. And then especially once you hit the Countess and the 5/5 taunts. I can't. Whitefin. What is her name?
The Light Ray.
Light Ray. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one is frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, they drop, the 6 mana next mana, minion you play costs health, and that's Countess, and then 2 Light Rays, and then it's like, that's like 30, like, was it like 17, 23 stat worth of stats for 6 mana? I don't know how I'm coming back. Yeah, it does. Good. And then they get to generate 3 random legendaries that cost nothing next turn. So like,
right.
It is Paladin is definitely a very strong deck, and it's it feels very powerful. Is it the number 1 deck? Is it Death Knight number 1 on HS Replay right now?
They're pretty close.
Yeah, I feel like they've been kind of flip-flopping.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at it. Yeah, Paladin and Death Knight are the only 2 with win rates over 50%. 55.8 for Paladin and 54.9 for Death Knight. So like, and Warrior's still at 39.2.
The more things change, the more things remain the same.
That's so true. Yeah. That hasn't changed much since you've been gone, right?
No.
Unfortunately.
Warrior's still garbage, hot garbage, and there's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. Although I will say, I do love Armageddillo, and that is back in the core set, and that is super cool.
Yes.
But let me ask you all. Okay, what has been? It's I guess a 2-part. I'm cheating. I'm putting 2 questions in one. What is the card that you've liked the most from the core set, and what's the card you've liked the most from the expansion?
Ooh. Oh gosh. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah,
I could go first if you all want to think about it.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So I think I already shared this. I think honestly, my favorite card so far from the new set has been One Amalgam Band. I didn't think that card was gonna be that great, but I'm having so much fun with it. Like I'm gonna slap down a thing, or like in some of the decks, you can buff it in your hand and then you play it. And then it's even a larger minion that's got like stealth and wind fury and poison and lifesteal and stuff, and that's great. And then from the core set, it's gotta be my Bay, Dragon Bay, Dragon Bay. Okay, it's Dragon Bane, but it's Dragon Bay now. Like, gotta make the rules. That's just what it is. I love it, and I feel like I had a lot of success with Hunter the first like 2 days ish of the expansion. And then I've been trying other stuff, but I was trying some more Hunter and it didn't feel like that great. It kind of feels middle, but maybe the decks that I was playing aren't that great. But man, Dragonbane is just, it's so good. It's so good. And especially once we start getting to these like kind of slightly slower, more greedy metas where people are only playing, 2 minions or something out on the board. They're trying to go for like the big minions, that kind of stuff, instead of going wide with small things. You're more likely to hit face with the Dragonbane. Also, we have the magnetic stuff back, which I've been loving. So, like, magnetizing. I haven't been able to pull it off, but if you can get Ziliax magnetized onto Dragonbane and then do a hero power, you also get the lifesteal from that 5. So, like, that's super cool. That's a little slow and clunky now, but yeah, those would be mine.
Okay, so all right. I think for me, in the new set, I think Screaming Banshee, which is the card I had mentioned earlier, the 5 mana, 3/6 that does creates minions equal to the amount you've healed, or it's let me read it. Lifesteal after your hero gains health, summon a soul with that much attack and health. So like, I've really enjoyed Screaming Banshee. The close second is Ghost Rider. Like, Ghost Rider is so much fun. Like, the fact that you like the finale on Ghost Rider is like just so satisfying that it's crazy. So like, I really like Ghost Rider. As for what's back in core, honestly, I want to say it's got to be for me, and I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but I do really hope to find some decks for it in the near future, is the Armor Vendor. Like, I love Armor Vendor. Like, the 4 armor is such a cool card, and I absolutely adore Armor Vendor. So I'm looking forward to finding new ways to put it into things.
All right. So my favorite one that's like back in the core, I think based on what you guys said, is that what is it? The 6 cost, but like every totem you go down, it's or every totem you play.
From below?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
The
thing from below. That has been so much fun. I can see why it was like popular before, and now it's winning games, which is also fun. But I feel like a lot of the like old totems, like there's something just hilarious about Grand Totem Eyesore to me. Like it's such a goofy looking thing and such a powerful effect that it's like one of my favorite cards to play. Just those two things combined is amazing. But like, as far as new stuff, Jive Insect has been like surprisingly like a really good win condition when things your board isn't shaping up the way you want to. So that's the one where it's a 5 mana spell, transform a minion into Ragnaros the Fire Lord, overload 2. What's up?
Are you playing Jive Insect in Totem Shaman?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, I know. Mind blown. I know what I'm playing after the podcast.
It's
forget cleaning the house. No.
Yeah.
I need to be playing Totem Shaman with Jive Insect.
It's hilarious because like if you can't get anything out, your hero power is to get a totem. Well, you can just turn that totem into Ragnaros the Fire Lord.
It's a 7 mana Ragnaros as opposed to an 8 mana.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it has been hilarious and a lot of fun and just like a goofy way to win things, which is always kind of a goal. But
you do love the chaotic option, don't you?
I do. I really, truly do. I think that's one of the fun things about Totem Shaman is it's like all these like little bits and pieces, and none of the individual bits matter, but they all like come together to create something really hilarious.
I don't know why, but that just made me envision like, what was it? Is it oh God, now I can't think of Robots in Disguise. Why can I not?
Transformers?
Transformers?
Yeah. Are they the ones that came together and make like one?
Yeah, the Mega Transformer. I don't know the official term for it, but like the like yeah.
Combiners. Oh, are you talking about like Voltron?
Well,
Voltron,
like...
Power Rangers, you know, like any
Power Rangers thing. Oh my!
Totems
that's something I haven't thought about forever.
Aren't great, but together we combine to make Super Totem.
That's how it goes. Gotta be honest. The other fun thing about that is
Totems in disguise.
Let's go.
Is you get to play some Murlocs in that, and there's just something goofy about like the alliance between stupid frog people and stupid like little wooden statues coming together to really just be a powerful deck.
And you get to play your favorite card, right? Rotkill.
Yes, I do love Rotkill.
Yes.
Rotkill has been great in Totem Shaman. I know it wasn't necessarily like thought of to be like the most popular, but it's been working out really well for me.
Okay, have you Smarms been seeing? You said you probably haven't been seeing as many blood DKs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I remember.
I was trying to play Totem Shaman and I was like, okay, yes. I'm putting stuff down. Then you play Rockgill and you give everything the death rattle. And I'm like, this is going to be sweet. And then they just do like something like, Kat's grinning and giving a thumbs up. Yeah, she knows where I'm going with this. And then you just do like a big removal that removes all of it at the same time, and you don't get any of those death rattles. And it's like the saddest thing. It happened to me like 3 times. I was like,
are you kidding me?
I just want the rocket effect. I was so sad.
Or you have enough corpses that it can cascade all at once because I have 20 corpses.
Yeah.
That one is heartbreaking. The one thing that I do like about Totem Shaman more than I liked about Murloc Shaman is there is a way to come back after your board has been cleared multiple times. You can have your board cleared multiple times and it doesn't mean you're dead yet. Whereas in Murloc Shaman, if your board was cleared, you're just dead. That's all there is to it. Like,
yeah.
Oops, death.
You have maybe one refill and then you're like, well, that board's gone too. And all right.
Yeah.
Now we're sad.
Whereas with the totemic evidence and all the other things that just stack, you're just fresh new board next turn, complete filled out, probably 5 to 7 minions in those later turns where it's just a complete refill, and it is hilarious. And I was looking at my stats, and for some reason I haven't been playing against any Blood Death Knights, and I don't know where. And I'm talking about for any of the decks that I've played since release, and maybe they just, it's the secret, the secret MMR. It's Hearthstone's you're not that good. Just go sit in your corner.
You want? Yeah, I mean, we could queue up a game after
this. Go
this.
play with your little wooden sticks over here. The rest of us will be over here.
Kind of what it feels like a little bit. It's okay, curious. This does seem to be what everybody's playing, and yet on the 40 games of new stuff that I've played, not a whole lot has been, against any sort of Death Knight. But
it's okay. That I would say that's probably good for you, because then you don't have to be playing against Blood Death Knights.
And from my experience from the Blood Death Knight side, Totem Shaman doesn't hold up against Blood Death Knight very well.
It's pretty rough.
Fair.
Yeah.
So
I'm just surprised after like having a deck that had like a 89% win rate that they didn't think like, oh, maybe you should queue up to like some of these frustrating games. But who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes it takes some luck, and like you don't always have to like queue up. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad you've been enjoying it and getting to play against non-Blood Death Knights. I've been seeing less of them today, though. Like like I said, I don't play on my PC like as often as I play on a tablet, so like I don't keep records. So it felt like I saw more Frost than Blood today. So, but like still a mixed bag. I saw some pirate rogues, miracle rogues. You know, someone was playing warrior for some reason I have yet to discover.
They lost a bet, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason. You know,
somebody redeem a deck for their stream.
When the set first came out, like one of the first things I did play was Warrior because Black Rock and Roll. It's just such a cool card, and I wish it was good. It's just way too slow, and it's one of those that just like sometimes feels really good. Like that card makes Remora feel good because it turns it into a 12,
like
12, 17. Yeah. And that's like, okay, well, I can swing with a 12 attack weapon a few times. That's fine by me. Or like the first one I was playing, and this was like day one, it had Naga Giants. So Naga Giants became 28.
Oh my gosh.
That's just ridiculous.
I guess that like the fun part about playing right now is like all these very broken things that are happening and a little bit more consistently happening because people don't know how to play around them yet. So
by broken, you mean just meme things that you kind of pull off once every 1 out of 10 games.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny,
but then
and
you got a
hilarious.
story to tell, right? You'd be like,
That's true.
Look at me and my 28 minions just stomping all over.
Honestly,
exactly. Post it on Twitter. Send it.
I was gonna say also the igneous lava goer or gorger, excuse me. When you dredge that with when you dredge Naga Giant, that's 20 armor. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I need to stabilize for a turn, heal for 20.
Yeah, that'll do it. That feels pretty healthy, you know, like.
Yeah, so I do wish Warrior was better. I do wish Black Rock and Roll was better. It's just I don't know. The riffs are such a cool mechanic too. The riffs are so cool. Like the fact that like if you finale a riff, you get to play it plays your last riff played, and like there's just so many cool ones. Like if you get to play two of the bridge riffs, the 6-mana one that summons a 3/4 rocker with taunt and a 4/3 with rush. If you get to play those, like, and then have that as your finale, like get two of those for like 6 mana. So like that's so much tempo and like board presence, and it's just so cool. Like it's such a cool mechanic, and I want it to be good, but
so all right, just in the realm of make believe here, if we're fixing like, you know, everything, do we think if riffs were stackable, so like if it played your last riff and your last riff played something, so now it's playing 3 things, that would be a strong enough like buff to make it actually an actual winnable deck?
I don't know.
Probably
I mean,
not still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then they should let them stack them. Like if it's
yeah, for me, like I feel like the riffs need either they need to be a little bit cheaper and
Mhm.
or they need an additional payoff thing, kind of like Zymox, the legendary minion is for Demon Hunter relics. How it like it, you know, you play that and it plays like all of them. Um, or they like if they would grow, yeah, kind of like the stacking type thing. But yeah, they need something more for sure.
Mhm.
Which is a bummer because they are really cool. Like I like the idea of them and like I think they're super cool and it's like a really cool concept. But yeah, they just need a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah. It's Warrior was like one of my first loves in Hearthstone, so like
Yeah.
I'm always sad to see him down in the pits. So
Hey, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna take that opportunity and I'm gonna lead us into a quick segment,
okay.
which for our 200th episode, I would love if we could kind of do a little bit of like celebratory chat and stuff. I'd like to have like kind of a roundtable discussion, all of us talk maybe about like your favorite memory from the show or just stuff you've loved from the show, your favorite memory from Hearthstone, just something like that so we can kind of celebrate our 200 episodes here. If you have anything, Mage, I would love to hear from you first, or even if you have one and we can, you know, go around.
Do you need
Way to
some time?
spring this on! Way to spring this on me! I wasn't. I was not prepared.
We can make somebody else go first if you want.
I can go. So it's definitely been um I think just getting to know everyone and literally just making friends through this podcast, and like every one of the people who's been on it has been phenomenal, and I like really enjoy like talking to everyone. Like it was like I always look forward, even if I'm not feeling like recording or just feeling a little like down or beaten up. But when like we start talking and getting into like the episode and everything goes live and we're recording, like everything just always felt so good. So it's always been uh like just the whole podcast, and like I'm extremely extremely proud to have this podcast make it to 200 episodes. Like we're coming up to 4 full years of Dr. 3, and like it's just crazy to think about it, to go back and just it's been a lot, but like if I had to pick like specific moments, like the moments where we got to talk to Blizzard's devs, like the time we got to talk to Celestion and Alec Dawson. So like those were like real highlights for like, yes, this is some validation. Yeah. Like
we made it.
Yes,
everyone, we made it. Thank you, we made it.
Yes, so like those would be the like the the real highlights, and like I am very humbled for everyone in the audience now and everyone listening to this and everyone who's listening to an episode. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It definitely, this is always, I've said this before, this has always been a passion project, and the passion is still there for me. And I love everyone listening, and thank you for supporting us and just listening to our podcast, and it means the world to me for sure.
I know I'm like a newer addition, but I wanted to talk about like I appreciate so much being like brought on. It was kind of like you know, like you stream for a while. A lot of those times are like you're streaming to an empty room, just because like, you know, and so this was kind of finally like, I don't like, you know, it was, oh, maybe I can talk about Hearthstone on a repeated basis. And so I really appreciate you guys bringing me on. It's been so much fun. I've loved being a part of it. It's made me a way more knowledgeable player, even if I still can't remember a card name to save my life. It's
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
It doesn't, except for we're an audio format. Like, you know, like I don't have a way to show anybody a card. And so it's like, you know, that one guy who does the thing, you know.
Oh, the guy that does the thing. Yeah, that's right.
Obviously, right? You know,
yeah.
But no, I've really loved being here, and it's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna try and jump in. So obviously, I think Kat hit the nail on the head. Like the biggest moments for the show, obviously, were the opportunities to interview the developers that we got a chance to do, and I think that some of the opportunities that have occurred, I think the fact that you got to cast Masters Tour is one of the greatest things to come out of this podcast, because I feel like I'm going to Kat and I need to take some credit here, because my favorite moment was after one of your first episodes and you didn't say anything hardly at all. We had a conversation after the show and I laid it out and I said, you got to talk more. You are the expert. People want to hear what you have to say. You are a great player and we need that point of view. That's why you're here. And you started opening up. You started talking a lot more. And I think that that led to bigger and better things. And so that is one of my favorite moments, was the fact that all these opportunities and stuff happened for you, because I think because you allowed for that to happen. Obviously you did the work, but I think it was one of those things where you just needed that little bit of encouragement. And I would also say that you all have been so encouraging to me throughout this process. Kat, obviously, from the very beginning, allowing for me to even become a member of the podcast. But then dragonrider, you as well. I know we've talked about, you know, our struggles when there's a meta change or balance changes and trying to get used to things. And you were always like, oh, you're too hard on yourself and that sort of thing. And so I think the friendships obviously are really important. And I mean, you invited me back, even though I have not been playing Hearthstone. And so I definitely appreciate that. But it's just those moments where we just had a laugh about Hearthstone or about anything else that was going on. Those are the things that I think about, and are things that like kind of pull me to wanting to be like, hey, I should come back and see how things are going and that sort of thing. So thank you.
Yeah. Maybe come back after they nerf Blood and Frost UK. You know, just wait a little bit longer there before you come back. Well, you know what? Actually, I was going to say that as well. I think for me, definitely that, you know, you speaking up and being like, hey, like you need to, you know, talk more, like you have things to say, honestly did like make a huge difference for me, not only with this podcast, but in general. And even just that like belief in myself, that, you know, I've tried to take and put towards other people as well. Like, you know, just that recognition of like, hey, what you have to say matters. And like, you have important things to say and share. And so, yeah, for me, I think that's been something huge that I've gotten out of this, you know, before this last couple of years being on the show, you know, I was very like kind of introverted, very just like down on myself. I'm still very much that way, but I'm trying not to be. Still, it's a very long work in process, work in progress there. But yeah, just that like, hey, this like Smarms said earlier, right? This is an audio podcast. Like the people can't see you, they can hear you, and you're not saying anything, so they can't hear you. So that defeats the purpose of having an audio show. So yeah, that definitely did make a huge difference. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart, and to everybody as well who has kind of gone on this journey with us through all of these episodes. I mean, I feel like our audience and a lot of the people that listen to the show have kind of grown with us, and it's been great to meet other people through the community. Sometimes we don't even get to know everybody. We might have people that like pop into my stream or something, or maybe somebody says something in the Discord every once in a while, but most of you just listen. And that's perfectly fine. I mean, you don't have to reach out like after every episode, right? But
you must be our friends. It's voice.
Yeah,
we're friends
let
now.
us know you're there.
I don't know if you read the contract you signed. It's in that Apple iTunes agreement.
It's like some sort of fey agreement. It's like, sorry, too late. We're best friends now.
Yep,
that's right. best buds. But every once in a while we might get somebody who does pop into the stream or something. They're like, hey, I've loved the show. I've been listening for a while. And it's like, thank you. That's awesome. Because especially in that audio, it's like from our side, we record, we do our editing, we post it, and then, things
it's
move on.
The void.
And then we go to next week and we do it again. So, just knowing that there are people on the other side that are listening and that feel like they connect. I mean, I remember at one point when I was listening to, 17 or so different Hearthstone podcasts, like all in 1 week. It was a lot. Yeah. But, sometimes just getting to hear that, like, I felt like I was, their friend, right? Because I got to hear them talk every single week. And even though they didn't know I was there, I felt like I was part of the show. I felt like I was getting to connect, especially when they shared things, about themselves personally, about what was maybe happening or achievements and different things that they were hitting, milestones. I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I felt like I could root for them. So I hope that people who are listening are kind of having experiences like that as well with our show. I hope that you kind of feel like you can connect with us at some level, whether it's a personal level or our play style in the game, because I think, now, especially like Smarms, you're really into like the chaotic, just like random decks, like generate stuff. I don't care. Let's go. I'm more of like the aggressive, maybe mid-range player. Kat loves that control style. So we do hope that there's, kind of something for everybody who listens. And I think before being on this show for so long, I didn't really think about things that way necessarily. I kind of thought about it as like when I listened to stuff, I was like, oh, it's awesome to like listen to people and hear their side of stuff and I could learn from them. But in terms of actually like feeling like I was part of the community, I don't think I necessarily connected that to me getting to like hear their perspectives and then talk every week. So I hope that we provide that for everybody as well. And, here's to another 200 or more episodes. Yay.
Yay.
I don't like in my mind, the passion for this project is still as strong as it was on day one back in 2019. So yeah, it's wonderful. And as we say, we always link all our social stuff. That's that quote there from Wicked Kitten was just lovely to hear. She said, I have to be off to record myself. Just want to say I've loved the show from back when Mage was on, and I love the show now. It especially means the world to me to be able to listen to the three women talk about Hearthstone. Thank you and congratulations for 200 episodes. I saw that. I was like, heart. Like that's awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Wicked Kitten.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, I was trying to say my passion's still there, and the community means everything, and we're all extremely approachable. So if you ever do want to talk to us or ask anything, just pop in the Discord. We don't bite. So, but if you just want to listen, that's cool too. But if you feel like you want to chat or ask us things or talk, we're always there. So, all right.
Absolutely.
Do we have anything we want to say before we wrap it up? For the 200th time?
Oh my goodness. I just want to say thank you, Mage, for coming back and hanging out with us. Even though, like you said, you haven't really been connected with Hearthstone the last few months, but it was absolutely great to chat with you again. And you absolutely were such a vital part of the show that I'm glad that we got to have you back.
Exactly.
You guys are unity, precision, perfection. That's all I got to say about that. But thank you for the invite. Congratulations. I cannot think of a better group to have made it to 200, and I'm sure you will be going for a very long time. I will be rooting for you every step of the way. So
Thank you. Okay, so we will wrap it up with our normal closing here. You can find the show on Twitter at Dr3HS. You can email the show at dr3hs@gmail.com. Follow the top pinned tweet to join the Dr. 3 Discord. You can find myself on Twitter at @alkaline_kat, KAT, or twitch.tv/AlkalineKat. Dragonrider.
You can find me on Twitter, DonnieDK. That's DAWNIEDK. Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, all that good stuff. Dragonrider TCCG, and talking every week with Ron Mexico about card games in general over at the TCCG Roundtable.
Smarms.
You can find me on both Twitter and Twitch at SendMeYourArms, and also on Blitzlet.
And Mage.
Goodness, it's been a while. You can find me on Twitter talking about Marvel Snap and my other games that I've been playing and comic books and stuff at Mage of Death. And I do a MCU video or movie and comic book podcast called Comics Over Time. That address at Comics Over Time on Twitter as well. Come check it out.
Would highly recommend it. So thank you all for tuning in and listening to the 200th episode. Mind blown saying that we've hit it. We've hit that milestone. You've been listening to Dr. 3.
You want to do one, Mage?
Oh, goodness. Okay. 200 down, 200 to go. Boom.
Yay.
Thank you, everyone who stopped in our live show as well.
Yeah,
really
thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.